put together for a team. How did it feel? How did it come together for you?
Yeah, it feels really good. Yeah, I think we have a great group. What's interesting is like we don't have a lot of time together, as we all know with USA Basketball. So anytime we do get together, what's been really wonderful is just how quickly everybody kind of like flips that switch. They get their USA Basketball mentality going. Like great teamwork already. You can feel the vibes, which to me, that means it's the right group. And putting it together for myself, yeah, it was the first time, but I keep joking. I've been doing this for like 20 years on napkins, so it was nice to actually have a real roster.
And just, I mean, I didn't know the answer to this, but I'm following up. There are people that aren't here that I'm sure had reasons.
Oh, yeah, for
that
sure.
It wasn't like they said no to you somewhere. They had reasons they're not here.
Yeah. And I think, that's, interestingly, tiny little tangent. I think the more coverage that women's basketball is getting, the more people are starting to understand that aspect of it, which is every time a competition comes around, every time a training camp comes around, there's a lot of moving parts to it. So it's never quite as straightforward, and you just try to get a group together and you start to try to build momentum towards what is now, in this particular moment, the World Cup.
How involved are you in drills?
That was my, you guys saw my debut. My hair hasn't been up in a really long time on a basketball court. No, they needed a passer, so listen. Is it why we won? I don't know. You can do the math.
So you're involved in a lot of different things in the basketball world.
Yeah.
You're a part owner of The Storm. You've got 2 great podcasts. You are now in this role with USA Basketball, co-founder of Together. How does USA Basketball ensure that any potential conflict of interest in regards to selecting the roster doesn't come into play?
Yeah, I mean, I think it comes down to trust.
Yeah.
And I'm somebody that throughout the course of my career, the thing that has always been the North Star for me is, in the basketball world, is winning.
Yeah.
That's all I care about. Even in terms of like my other businesses, you always want to have, you want to create an environment that's going to lead to whatever the winning is. And I think for me, like I said, that's how I've always conducted myself. I don't have a problem with the management of it. I know what it takes for USA Basketball to win gold medals, and that's all I think about.
Has that needed to be addressed, or is it just like an understood thing?
I think it's just been an understood trust. It really comes, again, it's like trust is I think this big word that can sometimes get thrown around, but when you actually have it, it doesn't really have to be spoken about.
There's a lot of players that are making their senior national team debut. What's the best piece of advice that you can give them as they take the floor for the first time?
Yeah, I think with USA Basketball, there's always a balance you have to strike between yourself and why are you here? What are you bringing to the team? But also trying to mesh with the rest of the group as quickly as possible. And as I've said 1,000 times, there's not a lot of time. And so really for a young player, you want to make sure that they're trying to find that balance, but giving themselves a lot of space to figure it out. One mistake doesn't mean you're off the team. One right play doesn't mean you're on the team. So having an understanding of you have to get in there, you have to bring the intangibles, the reason why you're there every day to practice. You have to be a sponge. And then I think globally, you have to understand that when you put that jersey on, it's different. People come at you different. The best part about this qualifying tournament is we already qualified, which means all these other teams are not just going to be playing against the U.S., they're playing for themselves. They're trying to qualify. And so I think it's a wonderful test, especially for some of the players that haven't been on this senior national team.
Was Paige vocal enough for your liking? She told us.
Yeah, I did say that to her last camp. She likes talking shit, so I appreciate that. That's the type of vocal that I like. No, I think Paige has just really demonstrated that she can be a connector. And so it's really about that, bringing that out of her. A young player, first time on the senior national team. So there could be a tendency to maybe fall in the backdrop, and you just want Paige, somebody like that who is a connector, to be herself. So I was just encouraging that.